Let's just start, shall we? Not space. Come on. Come on. Come on. Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. Oh, come on. Okay, that was not good. Oh, it was. Because I'm training, right? That's why it is good. Okay. So set a timer called the add message function after 100 milliseconds. Okay, so set timeouts, then we say add message 100 milliseconds. Okay, so that worked. So this will be array and it will be for after it worked. Okay, resolve reject, and we have a reject, so it will be rejected error such user. Build a new promise with new promise, putting in the value it worked inside it. We've included some code that adds that then to convert the string into shouting. Okay, so I have to resolve it. And I will do it in a way. I will put in the thing, the function, which will take two functions. Oh, it will take one. So we will fulfill what was it? Worked. It worked. Cool. Set timeout. Calls below reference delay 1 to 3. Okay, so this is where I have to arrange it. So horse is second one. Dog is the first one. And this one is the third one. There we go. Promise, reject, new error. Okay, so this will be rejected. Error. Oh no. Do asynchronous work. We have an array. Okay. After 3000. Okay, so it will be there. It will be there. It worked. Okay, so we have two before. Then we have a for cycles with two set timeouts. Okay, so it will be for in quotes after, then during one, during two. Change it to reject an error containing that message. Sure. Pum, pum, pum. Okay. Promise resolve. That then user does not exist. Okay, so this will be rejected. Error, user does not exist. Like so. Cool. Oh fuck, and I forgot to start the timer. And I'm 5 minutes in. Oh, well, I will start it. It will be code examples, which is nice. Okay, so we have an array, then we push it, then we have some promise. And it waits a second. The promise, and then push constructed, and after that it will push 10, so it will be before, after, constructed. Come on, like so. Maybe some typo. Before, after, const, corrected, then, that's not right. Or after. No, it will. Yeah, it should be like this. Constructed. Then. How? Why? I don't get it. It should be. It should be array push. This would be invoked immediately. Then we have a promise. So this waits, and then are they really done sequentially? Okay, I'll try. Then I'm convinced it should be before, after, construct, then. So we will verify. We'll run it. We will run the code in the browser and see how it goes. Clear the console. Clear. timeout, and we will have a return array, and I'll say 3 seconds. Okay. So I need to put it in there as a parameter, I guess. Come on. Work with me. Okay, fuck that. Oh. Yeah, so I have before constructed, after, then before constructed, after. So you're saying that then will be like so? Oh shit, really? Wow. Promise constructor is synchronous. Yeah. Okay. So this will be a 4. I learned something. That's good. And it's everything inside of the constructor, which is in here, will be executed synchronously. Okay. And big success. Well, oh, it is. It is. It is big success. Promises resolving to promises. So far, we've only seen the promise.resolve function create fulfilled promises. Did we? Yeah, so it will be filled 5, like so. It seems confusing for it to be named promise.resolve. It always creates fulfilled promises. Why not call it promise fulfill instead? Yeah. Subtle reason. Okay, so I wanna know. Can be resolved with other promises. For example, if we have promise 1, we can create as .then. Uh-huh. We might expect this to create a promise that contains a promise, but in JavaScript there is no such thing. Instead, the promises are flattened. They are flattened, huh? So that means it will be just one promise. Promise 1 fulfills, promise 2 will also fulfill with the same value. initialize for rejection. If promise 1 rejects, promise 2 will reject with the same reason. Okay, so I'm doing it mechanically a little bit now. So go back in here. Here I have a promise 1, which is resolved. So promise 1 is resolved, I believe, and then promise 2 is promise.resolve, and I put in that thing, the promise 1. So it will just bubble up to the promise 2, I guess, and when I have to reject, it kind of takes what is in here and just put it in the promise 2. Okay, and also look that we are accessing the object. It would be called class inside of other language. This would be like prototype maybe? I don't know. It's big P. Now we can transfer the question. What began with this lesson? Why isn't promise resolve named promise fulfill? It's because promise resolve can create a rejected promises too. Ah, I see. How it makes sense. We can resolve a promise. Take on my bathroom. Okay, so we can resolve a promise with 3 things. Promise.resolve in the constructor and with .then call. Resolving 2 promises work identically in all of those places. See, so here is in the constructor. We are resolving right away the promise 1 in the constructor, and then we resolve the promise 2 with the promise 1, so promise 2 will be fulfilled, and it will say 6. Promise 1. Now here we have a dot resolve. So we have a promise dot resolve, and then we have dot then, and we just return 7. Okay, so promise resolve creates fulfilled promise. Dot then will put the 7 inside of it, and then we have another promise resolve, which is like the object dot resolve, promise object dot resolve, and then we have a dot then, and we put inside the promise 1. Okay, so that is the number 2, and this will be fulfilled 7. The fact that nested promises flatten is a practical decision, not an essential one. We can imagine an alternate universe where promises don't work this way. In that universe, returning a promise inside the then callback results in something like fulfilled. A promise nested inside another promise, but in our universe we get promises get flattened into that's nice error. Once promise created in this way, it's just another normal promise. For example, we can add a then callback to it, and the then callback will see the value inside as usual. So we have a promise 1, we have a promise resolve, so this will be fulfilled 5, then we take that value, add it 1, so we will have a 6, and then we have promise resolve, which creates a promise, then we say that then and we will return the promise 1, which is now 6, fulfilled 6, and we will add 2, so that will be 8, so we will have a fulfilled 7, I said, right? No, 8. Okay. There's a serious consequences. For example, then callbacks have entire chains of thens inside themselves. Can have entire chains of thens inside themselves, as long as the then callback returns a promise, it will be flattened. Then might not return promise. I might return a value, right? Maybe. Careful with the next example, it's tricky. A third code block is combining values from promise 1 and promise 2. Promise 1 equals promise. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Be careful with the next example. I lost focus. It's tricky. The third code block is combining values from promise 1 and promise 2. Okay, cool. So we have a promise 1 which resolved 5, and then we add 1 to it, so it will be fulfilled 6. Promise 2 is 10, so we have 6 and 10. And then promise 1 got 10. But Okay, so we take the n1 and then we will return promise to the then. So my intuition would be it will be 16. So it will be fulfilled 16. Yeah. There's a reason that in this universe nested promises get flattened. Network requests, writes and reads to and from disk, set timeouts, etc. will all combine nicely with promises that resolve the promise. Okay, let's go once again over the thing they did in here. And that is those guys in here. Promise resolve. So we have promise 1.then, which creates a new promise, and it returns, it takes the promise to and takes the then. So inside of here we have the n1 variable. In which scope those live? I would believe the n1 lives only inside of here. Respectively inside of there. Because here we get it, and inside of the highlighted it lives. For example, we can use new promise together with set timeout to introduce a delay inside a then callback. If thens couldn't return promises, then there would be no straightforward way to do this. What do you mean? We can use new promise together with set timeout to introduce delay inside a then callback. Inside of then callback. Okay, show me. So we have a promise resolved that creates a promise. Then we have dot then, and we just print out first then. Immediately after that, we create a new promise, and we have second then. Then we have but we will be returning a new promise, and it will call resolve after 1 second. And then we will get third then. So first and second then will be printed out immediately, and then this guy will be after 1 second or so. Yeah, cool. When we resolve in the timer, when we resolve in the timer, when we run the resolve, okay, function, or we resolve the timer, we can pass value in, it will flow into the next, then in the usual way. So we can call it with the parameters and that will flow into the next one, right? Yeah, so it says n plus 1. Where do you take the n? N is here, n is here. So we have a 5. That goes in here. We'll print out this guy over here immediately. And we are over the time limit, which means we are done. Done is better than perfect. I'll see you next time.